Principles Show daily podcast by and for you.
Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive? Today we're getting into some really interesting AI news coming out of India.
They've launched three AI centers of excellence. And this is a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. Huge.
We're talking healthcare, agriculture, sustainable cities.
Yeah, the kind of stuff that can really make a difference.
Exactly. So not just tech for the sake of tech. These are aimed at tackling major global challenges.
Right. It's about applying AI to solve real problems, which I think is really exciting.
Totally. And India is putting their money where their mouth is. They've invested something like 990 crore, which is, get this, over $1 billion.
Wow, that's a serious commitment right there.
That's more than some entire country's budgets for this stuff. Clearly, they're not messing around.
No, they're definitely serious about becoming major players in the AI field, no doubt about it.
It's all part of this big push towards Viksit Bharat. Basically, think of it as their plan for a fully developed India, and tech, especially AI, is a huge part of it.
It makes sense. They've got the talent, the resources, and now, with these centers, a really focused strategy.
Okay, so let's talk about who they've got heading up these centers, because honestly, it's an impressive lineup. We're talking about the Indian Institutes of Technology, the IITs.
Yeah, those are top-notch institutions, like the MIT of India, people always say.
Exactly. And then you've got the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, which is like the gold standard for medical research.
So they're not messing around, are they?
No, they're bringing in the big guns. But here's the thing that I think is really cool. These institutions, they're not just going off and doing their own thing in isolation. They're partnering with industry leaders, startups, to make sure that what they're developing actually has real-world applications.
So it's not just theoretical pie-in-the-sky research.
Yeah.
They're really focused on making sure this stuff has an impact.
Right, exactly. I like that a lot. So less theory, more action.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what exactly will these centers be working on? Like, give me the specifics. What kind of AI are we talking about here?
Sure. Well, let's start with healthcare. Imagine AI that can diagnose diseases way earlier and more accurately than we can now.
Okay, that's huge, right? Early diagnosis can make all the difference.
Absolutely. And it's not just diagnosis. Think personalized treatments, tailored to your specific needs.
Okay, that's getting pretty futuristic, like personalized medicine, but AI-powered.
Exactly. And here's the other thing. They're looking at how AI can make healthcare more accessible, especially in remote areas, which is a huge issue, not just in India, but globally.
That's huge. And then there's agriculture. That's what I'm really interested in.
Oh, yeah. The possibilities in agriculture are just mind-blowing.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, for one, think about precision farming.
Yeah.
Like using AI to optimize everything from planting to irrigation to make sure they're getting the absolute most out of every single crop.
Okay, so like maximizing yields and minimizing waste, all with AI.
And then, of course, there's the big one, the elephant in the room, climate change.
Right. How AI can help us adapt to a changing climate.
They're looking at how AI can help predict and mitigate the effects of climate change on agriculture. I mean, we're talking about potentially transforming how we feed the entire planet.
That's a lot of pressure to put on some algorithms. But I guess if anyone can do it.
Right. And we can't forget about the cities. As more and more people move to urban areas.
Yeah, the world's becoming increasingly urbanized.
Exactly. So these centers are also looking at how AI can help us build smarter, more sustainable cities.
Okay, give me an example of that.
Smarter urban planning, more efficient resource management, making cities more livable, greener. The list goes on and on.
It's like taking these really complex problems that, frankly, have stumped us for years and saying, all right, AI, you give it a shot.
Right, like maybe AI can crack the code where we've kind of hit a wall.
So they're aiming to be solution providers of the world, as one article put it, which is a bold claim. I mean, it's admirable, but do you think it's realistic?
Well, it's definitely ambitious, that's for sure. But with the resources they're pouring into it and the talent they have at their disposal.
True. They've definitely got the brains.
Yeah. So I don't think it's that far-fetched, honestly.
And there's one more interesting piece to this whole puzzle, which is Sridhar Vembu. He's the CEO of Zoho, this big Indian tech company.
Yeah, Zoho. I've heard of him.
So he's actually co-chairing the government's main committee for this whole AI initiative.
Wow, that's interesting.
Right. It really shows you how closely the government and the private sector are working together on this.
It's like they're on the same page, working towards a shared goal.
Right. It's not just a bunch of academics stuck in a lab somewhere. This has the potential to be a real game changer.
Yeah, it's a real team effort, you know. And speaking of teamwork, one thing that really struck me while reading these articles is how this isn't just an India-focused thing. They keep talking about the impact this could have on other countries, especially the BRICS nations.
That's a good point. I mean, the BRICS countries represent what? Like almost half the world's population.
Yeah, it's huge. And their economies are growing really fast.
So if India can actually pull this off, using AI to solve these massive problems.
It could be a model for other countries to follow.
Exactly, especially those facing similar challenges.
Think about it. Healthcare, agriculture, sustainable cities. These are things that every country on the planet has to grapple with.
So India could become like the go-to expert for AI-powered solutions.
Potentially, yeah. Like imagine they develop this AI that helps farmers deal with drought conditions. That could be huge for countries in Africa or parts of Southeast Asia.
It's like they'd be exporting not just technology, but like a whole new way of thinking about these problems.
Exactly. And it's not just about sharing solutions. It could even influence how AI is developed and regulated globally.
Okay, so how could India shape the future of AI? What are they bringing to the table?
Well, for one, they've been really vocal about the importance of ethical AI development.
Right, making sure it's used for good, not just for, making a quick buck or whatever.
Exactly. And that's something that's becoming increasingly important, right? As AI becomes more powerful, we need to be having serious conversations about its impact on humanity, on society as a whole.
And it's not just about preventing the downsides, right? It's also about making sure that the benefits of AI are shared equitably.
100%. It can't just be something that benefits the wealthy few. India seems to really get that, and they're pushing for an inclusive approach to AI development.
Which is great to see. So we've talked a lot about the big picture here, the global implications of India's AI push. But for someone listening to this right now, it might still feel a little abstract, right? Like, how will this actually impact my life?
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the big ideas and forget about the practical applications.
But this isn't some far-off sci-fi thing we're talking about here. AI is already impacting our lives in so many ways, and these centers in India, they're just going to accelerate that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's only going to get more integrated into, like, every aspect of our lives moving forward.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes this so important, right? Like, we've got to stay informed about what's happening in the world of AI because it's not just going to impact, some specific industry or whatever. This is going to impact all of us in ways we probably can't even imagine right now.
100%. Like, think about it. What if, in a few years, you go to the doctor and the diagnosis is made by AI?
And maybe even the treatment plan is, like, partially designed by AI.
Right. Or imagine you go to the grocery store and the produce you're buying was like grown with the help of AI and it's like perfectly optimized for taste and nutrition.
So even something as basic as like what we eat could be transformed by these AI developments.
Totally. And that's just like scratching the surface. The possibilities really are endless.
Okay, so it's exciting stuff, but there's always that little voice in the back of my head that's like, but what if it goes wrong?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There are definitely risks and challenges that come along with any new technology, especially something as powerful as AI.
Right. And with these centers in India, they're setting some pretty ambitious goals.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They're swinging for the fences.
So the big question is, will they actually be able to achieve what they're setting out to do? I mean, can they really become the solution providers of the world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, I don't think anyone knows for sure. Like, the future's unwritten, right?
Right. But what we do know is that they're off to a very, very strong start, and they're clearly taking this very seriously.
Totally. And I think regardless of whether they achieve every single goal, the work they're doing is going to have a major impact. Like, it's going to push the field forward.
It's going to inspire other countries and institutions to, step up their game as well.
Exactly. It's going to be really fascinating to see how this all plays out.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it for today. But hey, listeners, we want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Will these AI centers in India live up to the hype? How do you think AI will impact your life in the years to come? Head over to our website, leave a comment, send us an email, tell us what you think.
Yeah, let's keep the conversation going. This is just the beginning, really.
Exactly. AI is here to stay, so let's make sure we're all part of the conversation.
I'm really glad we got to dive into this today. It's some really fascinating stuff.
Me too. Always learning something new on this show, which is what I love. All right, until next time, everyone, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.